Deep in the rainforests of Siberut Island, there's a people who've never once needed a refrigerator. The Sakuddei have lived here for centuries. No supermarkets, no electricity, no cans lining pantry shelves. And yet, they've mastered something most of us have forgotten: how to keep food fresh for months using nothing but what the forest offers. Their oldest trick? A single plant. Zero technology. What if everything we thought we knew about food storage was wrong? Welcome back. I'm here to take you inside the lives of the world's most resilient cultures, the ones who turned nature into pantry, pharmacy, and home long before we ever needed a user manual. Today, we're going to Siberut, one of the most isolated islands in Indonesia. The Sakuddei live here, and their food preservation methods haven't changed in generations. There's no salt curing, no vinegar pickling, no modern shortcuts. Just 20 techniques, ancient, ingenious, alive, that keep their harvests edible through monsoons, droughts, and everything the jungle throws at them. Stay with me, because what's coming later will catch you off guard. One of their preserved foods outlasts honey. And it costs nothing to make. The Sakuddei aren't just another indigenous group trying to hold on. They're one of the oldest continuous cultures in Southeast Asia, over 3,000 years in the Mentawai rainforest. Their existence follows one principle: take only what you need, preserve what you harvest, waste nothing. But here's what makes their methods so extraordinary. Siberut's interior is landlocked by jungle, no ocean salt. Half the year, monsoon rains hammer down, no reliable sun. Refrigeration? The word doesn't exist here. 20 distinct methods. All of them use materials within walking distance of their villages. Some ferment. Others smoke. A few rely on tree barks that work like natural antibiotics. And here's the thing, these aren't just survival hacks. They're culinary traditions that create flavors you won't find anywhere else on Earth. Think about this for a moment. What's the longest you've kept food fresh without a fridge? A day? Maybe 2 if you're lucky. The Sakuddei store certain foods for 6 months or longer. One particular item, which will reach at number 7, stays edible for over a year. No preservatives. Nothing added. Let's go. 20 survival foods that challenge everything we think we know about expiration dates. Number 20, dried sago palm larvae. Yes, insects. The Sakuddei harvest these protein-rich grubs from rotting sago palms, then smoke them low and slow for 3 to 4 days. Once dried, they're crunchy, nutty, and last up to 3 months. Nature's jerky. More protein per gram than beef. Number 19. Fermented taro leaves. They wrap taro greens in banana leaves and bury them in shallow pits for 5 to 7 days. Natural bacteria break down the compounds that make raw taro bitter and toxic. What emerges? A tangy, savory dish that stays good for 2 months and delivers essential vitamins when the rains come. At 18, smoked wild boar. Hunting is sacred here. When a boar is caught, nothing goes to waste. They slice the meat thin, suspended above a slow-burning fire for up to 2 weeks. The smoke sinks deep into the flesh, forming a barrier that keeps the meat edible for 4 to 5 months. It's their protein insurance when hunting goes quiet. Number 17. Sun-dried river fish. After catching fish from Siberut's rivers, they gut and butterfly them, then lay them on elevated bamboo racks in direct sunlight. 3 days later, you've got rock-hard sheets that store in dry baskets for 3 months. When they're ready to eat, they rehydrate them in coconut milk, texture and flavor, brought back to life. 16 might catch you off guard. Preserved durian paste. They take overripe durian, the infamous king of fruits, and cook it down with wild palm sugar into a thick paste. At 15, roasted sago flour cakes. Sago is the backbone of everything they eat, a starchy flour pulled from palm pith. They mix it with water, form thick cakes, roast them over hot stones until a hard crust forms. Store them in elevated baskets, away from moisture, and they last 2 to 3 months. Number 14. Bamboo-stored wild honey. The Sakuddei are expert honey hunters, climbing towering trees to harvest from giant bee colonies. They store the honey in sealed bamboo tubes, sometimes for over a year. At 13, something clever: salt substitute ash packets. Remember, no ocean salt here. Instead, they burn specific hardwoods and certain river plants, collecting the mineral-rich ash. Number 12. Fermented cassava blocks. Cassava roots, peeled, boiled, mashed, formed into dense blocks. Wrapped in multiple layers of banana leaves and left to ferment for 10 to 14 days. The fermentation strips out toxins naturally present in cassava while building a tangy, almost cheese-like flavor. Wrapped right, these blocks stay good for 3 to 4 months. And at 11, dried banana leather. They mash overripe bananas into pulp, spread it thin on palm leaf mats, dry it in the sun for 5 to 7 days. What you get is a flexible, sweet leather that rolls up for storage and lasts 4 months. We're entering the top 10 now. The preservation methods that truly reveal Sakuddei ingenuity. These next foods don't just last for months. Some stay edible for seasons. Even years. And the techniques? They involve forest chemistry that scientists are only beginning to decode. What's waiting at number 7 will genuinely surprise you. Let's keep moving. Number 10, smoke-dried medicinal mushrooms. The Sakuddei recognize dozens of forest mushroom species, many with healing properties. They smoke them slowly over aromatic wood fires, preserving not just the mushrooms but their medicinal compounds. Sealed in bark containers, these fungi stay potent for 6 to 8 months. They're used to treat infections, digestive issues, and more. At 9, preserved coconut cream. Fresh coconut milk spoils in hours under tropical heat. But the Sakuddei cook coconut cream slowly until the water evaporates and the oils separate, creating a thick, shelf-stable paste. Packed into bamboo and sealed, this cream lasts up to 4 months. Number 8. Wrapped palm heart. When a sago palm is felled for starch, the tender heart is a delicacy. They wrap this heart in layers of its own bark, then banana leaves, creating an environment without oxygen that slows decomposition. Buried in cool soil for 3 to 4 weeks, the palm heart undergoes gentle fermentation, preserving it while mellowing its flavor. It stays edible for 2 months after they dig it up. And here we are. Number 7. The surprise I promised. Sago weevil powder. After drying sago larvae, they grind some into a fine protein powder. Stored in airtight bamboo tubes with silica-rich ash as a desiccant, this powder lasts over 15 months, longer than most commercial protein powders. It's added to porridges, soups, ceremonial foods. Concentrated nutrition for times of scarcity. This is genuinely one of the most shelf-stable protein sources on Earth. Not a single chemical preservative. At 6, bark-wrapped wild yam. Wild yams are starchy tubers they dig from the forest. After brief roasting, they wrap them tightly in antibiotic tree bark from the duabanga tree, then store them in cool, dark corners of their homes. The bark's natural compounds stop mold and sprouting. The yams stay fresh for 5 to 6 months. Forest-based root cellaring. Number 5. Fermented fish paste. Small fish, gutted, mixed with ash and pounded taro root, then packed into clay pots and sealed with wax. Over 2 to 3 months, natural fermentation creates a pungent, umami-rich paste, similar to Southeast Asian shrimp pastes. It lasts up to 8 months and flavors vegetable dishes. A little goes a long way. At 4, compressed sago cakes. Unlike the roasted version at 15, these cakes are heavily compressed in wooden molds lined with preservative leaves, then aged for weeks. The compression removes moisture and creates density that keeps bacteria out. Stored elevated and dry, they stay edible for 6 to 7 months. Traditional food for multi-day hunting trips. We're down to the final 3. These aren't just preserved foods anymore, they're cultural treasures. Each one holds generations of observation, experimentation, and respect for what the forest gives. And number 1? It's so effective that modern food scientists are studying how it works. Let's finish this. At 3, ritual tobacco leaves. The Sakuddei grow sacred tobacco for ceremonies. After harvesting, they twist the leaves into tight ropes, smoke them heavily, then coat them in tree resin. These tobacco ropes hang high in the Uma and can last for years, sometimes over 5 years. They're not for casual use. They're saved for important spiritual rituals and healing ceremonies. The preservation here is as much cultural as practical. Number 2. Aged fermented legume paste, their version of tempeh, but made from native forest legumes instead of soy. After fermenting beans with wild yeast cultures, they wrap the cakes in antimicrobial leaves and age them in smoke for months. The aging builds complex umami flavors while the smoke creates a preservation shell. These cakes last 8 to 10 months and are considered a delicacy, often reserved for honored guests. And finally, number 1, beeswax-sealed tree sap honey. This isn't regular honey. The Sakuddei collect sweet sap from specific rainforest trees, then reduce it slowly over days until it reaches honey-like consistency. They mix this with wild honey and medicinal plant resins, then seal it in bamboo with multiple layers of beeswax. This combination creates something that lasts over 2 years. Potentially longer. 20 preservation methods. Months of shelf life. 0 refrigeration. The Sakuddei have proven that nature provides everything we need, if we know where to look and how to listen. Here's my second question: which of these 20 foods would you actually try? And which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. These techniques aren't just fascinating, they're relevant. As we face climate challenges and search for sustainable food systems, indigenous wisdom like this offers real solutions. The Sakuddei teach us that preservation isn't about dominating nature with technology. It's about understanding natural processes and working with them. If this journey into Sakuddei food wisdom opened your eyes, subscribe and ring the bell. We're exploring more indigenous survival knowledge every week. Drop a comment with your favorite preservation method from today's list, and share this video with anyone who cares about sustainable living or cultural anthropology.